Hello, I'm Limesh Parekh, and this video is number 7.2. And the topic is 4 points of capability demonstration or the 4 steps in it. As we understood in the previous video in 7.1, what is capability demonstration and why should it be done? In this video, we will understand how to do this, right? It is more important to learn how to do it. As I told you in the previous video, sales is a craft. It is not an art or science. And craft is the thing which is perfected by practice. Craft is that skill which you learn through trial and error. So, the more you do this, the more you become an expert. So, merely watching this course will not be of any help. Doing things will help. So, please do it for sure. Let's see the agenda point by point. First, we will ensure that out of the 4 steps, in which step do you need to invest how much time and energy? Then, step number 1 is you should understand the problem of the person in front of you. It means you should explain to him that you understand the problem. Step number 2 is that you need to explain to him that there can be a solution like this. Okay? The solution is not to be shown but to be told. Step number 3 is you have to give a demo of the solution. We will understand all these things in detail. The fourth thing is additional proof of capability. Now, what is this? I will explain to you. And in the end, I will discuss the mistakes you should avoid. Don't make such and such mistake. Okay? So, you can't go wrong. How much time do you need to spend on these 4 steps? Now, about the requirement understanding, whatever total time you are going to spend on this client, out of that, 40% time has to be spent on understanding the requirement. There are many requirements which are layered. The customer says something and he wants something else. The pain point is somewhere else. So we will have to uncover that pain point. So we'll see how to find it by seeing an example. Take out 30% time to discuss your solution with them. Okay? Not a demo, just a discussion. Spend 15% time giving demonstrations. If the above 2 tasks are done correctly, the demo will be fantastic with just 15% effort. And then 5% effort into giving that additional proof. Okay, what is this additional proof? You will understand it very soon. Now, this may not be sequential. Sometimes some things may happen in different sequences. But if you know the content, then you will be able to deliver and you will be able to do this whole process 100% successfully. Now, what happens is that generally I've seen that salespeople put 90% of their effort into demos and they also do the walkthroughs. You cannot be more wrong than this. So don't make this mistake. It is going in a terrible direction. It does not help you close the deal and too much of your time will be wasted. Remember well, the purpose of this entire chapter on capability demonstration is that we can make maximum sales with minimal effort. It is important that the effort should be minimal. Only then you will get more ROE. You have limited time. In this limited time, you have to make maximum impact. Now, point number 1, understanding the problem. The purpose is that the client has to be convinced that we have understood their problem. It is necessary that the other person should be convinced. So, what will be the steps for this? First, do a detailed study of their company and existing processes. Now, whenever I say study the company and the existing process, and you ask a founder to tell us a little about you, sir, so this is a wrong question. As soon as you ask these questions, sometimes it happens that the person starts it like this, that my grandfather started the company in 1940. Then we had company here and we were manufacturing there. All these things are okay, but you should do research. You don't need to engage the founder for this kind of stuff. This is a total waste of time. The usage of CRM has nothing to do with the company's founding year. So you should remember what information you should receive. And how to understand their process, I will explain that too. Okay? Then you should discuss the challenges and goals in detail. Well, let me tell you one thing, just like a feedback. This is not like asking questions in one sentence and getting the answer in one sentence as well. It will not happen. You must discuss this in detail with patience. This is commonly seen, and it's my personal experience as well as there are studies. If you ask any person what the problem is, initially they will say there is no problem. Everyone will say life is good. Now start a little discussion. So slowly they start talking about the problem. Well, I said earlier that this is not sequential. If I ask you what the problem is, you will not immediately tell me the problem. So As you get convinced that I can solve your problem, then you describe the problems in detail. So this step will work like this. Tick tock, tick tock. I ask you about your small problem, then you told me the problem. Then I nicely explained a solution for it. I didn't show it, but I just explained it. So you got a little bit of confidence. Yes, he understands my problem and probably also understands the solution. You will tell me more problems. I will give you another solution. Then you'll tell me one more problem. Then I'll give you one more solution. So, in this way, the ping pong game of conversation proceeds, and you will come to know properly what the exact problem is. Along with that, the customer will also know that you have understood the problem. So, keep this in mind. Don't ask questions in one line. And for God's sake, don't start filling out the standard form. What is your problem? Right? It doesn't work like that. You have to communicate. They might have prepared a document. So, it's a very good thing. But insist on talking in detail. If it's a big organization, insist on talking in detail to multiple people in multiple layers. The boss always talks about a different perspective of the company. The middle management speaks about a different perspective of the company. And the bottom executives speak about a different perspective of the company. If you want to give a successful solution anywhere, you should understand the perspectives of all three layers. The problems, goals, and challenges of all three levels should be understood. After that, the solution we give will be the perfect fit. If the organization is small, then there is less trouble. There it will happen quickly. So, as I said, some are explicit needs and some are implicit needs. Now, it can be compared in such a way that we will see the relation between need and want with an example. The client asked for something else, but he needed something else. What he asked for was very small. If you had given only that much, nothing would have happened. Okay, let me give you an example. This was many years ago, maybe in 2010 or in 11. This was in Pune city. We got a call from an automobile dealer and he asked, "Do you have a solution for call recording?" We said yes. Then he said, "Okay, how much does it cost?" So that call recording solution is only for 18,000 and I get a margin of up to 10%. That was the margin of rupees 1800 or 2000. Then I asked him, Sir, but what do you want to record? Why do you want to record calls? And whose calls will you record?" So they said that our entire team that does follow up, they call the customers. So for the quality and better results, we have to listen to the call recording. So I said, "Okay, sir, why do these people call?" So he told me four reasons. The walk ins who come to the showroom, we follow up with those customers. "Sir, when do you want to purchase the car, etc., etc." Second, there is a service that we have to provide for the car from the company. So for that, we call people. Okay, when are they coming for the service? Third, when service is done, we call for feedback. And the fourth, important, is we call to sell the insurance. And fifth, we call to sell our additional support or service packages. Now, as he told me all this, I asked him again, "Sir, you must have many records of who has been called, whose call is pending, who has answered what, etc." He said, "No, we haven't thought anything like that. Right now, we are thinking that we will manage it in an Excel spreadsheet." Then he asked me, "Do you have some solution?" I said, "Yes, we have. We have CRM in which all these things will be managed and the telephony will be related or linked with it." So that got him interested. Okay. And then they told us that, "Okay, you give a demo to our senior team." Then in the next week, we gave the demo to the entire management team. So they liked it. They purchased it. Now their branches were more than 30, right? Okay. The solution that was delivered to just one place was rupees 4 lakh, 400,000 rupees. And they deployed our solutions in 30 plus locations over the next 3 years. This means that we had done billing of almost rupees 1 crore over there. Now imagine what would have happened if I had given them the device of rupees 18,000 that they had asked for. Had I given that, I would have earned only 2,000 rupees. Now here I sold 1 crore rupees and sold them the thing I had made. So my margin was huge. So this is the issue of explicit or implicit need. Until you dive in it, you will not understand. In the previous video, we said that you will not leave money on the table. And this is an example of that. Do one thing, especially while understanding any problem of the customers. Tell him that, "Sir, I understand that such and such is a problem," and then repeat the problem. You might think this is childish, but it is very important and it has a very strong impact. Now you can say this to the customer and say the lines that I'm telling you Sir, as I understand it, you have this problem. Am I right? So you'll say, right. It is necessary to get their confirmation. Then you get a confirmation that he is convinced that you have understood the problem. Is it confusing? I'll tell you again. You get it confirmed that the customer has been convinced that you have understood the problem. And this is very important. In step one, we should convince the customer that we understand their problem. This is very important. Now, after this, he will have many doubts while talking. So, at this level, clear whatever doubts you can. Don't think that everything will be cleared in the demo. Clear as many doubts as you can here. Now, let us see the examples of explicit versus implicit needs. We will see three examples. The first example is, suppose the customer said that I have to track the GPS location of my employees. Do you have a solution? Well, incidentally, this happens in Sangam CRM, right? But this problem needs a little more digging. Yes, it would be best if you dug deep. How will you do it? Tell them that you will be able to see this, sir. But who will monitor? Who is going to watch it all day? Because the boss or senior managers will not have time. Then they may realize that, yes, it is right. Who will monitor it? Then they think that it is a wasted effort. Then the next question can be, if you see this monitoring, what information do you want? What do you want to understand? What action are you going to take on that? And what would be the analysis and action on this information? Try asking that. Okay? And then ask, sir, what is the North Star metric of the team you are trying to track? Now, what is the meaning of North Star metric? If you don't know it well, then Google it. You will understand it in detail. I'll tell you in one line that it is a parameter which is most important in that person's work. For example, if I'm a service person, means I'm a support executive. So, what will be my North Star metric? How many customers I have served and are they happy? Right? So, it is not important if I made 100 calls, 50 calls in a day, but in one day I closed the ticket by giving proper support to 12 customers or 20 customers. This is important. What is the meaning of all this? The number of tickets closed is important for the support person. So, it is important to keep this in mind. As soon as you discuss this, the clients will know. What happens is that the majority of people who buy CRM are buying this for the first time. So they never think about this process properly. The moment you start this discussion, they realize that their problem is a little deeper. And when you tell them the problem is deeper, they understand it quickly. An idea, you can tell them, is it possible that you monitor the process rather than the activity? Meaning, if we track the GPS location of the support team, it means we will track their activity. Then isn't it better that you track the ticket directly? How many tickets did he close? Everything can be visible. You will come to know it automatically. You will know it easily and with clarity. Okay, so this is very important. This whole discussion seems so mundane, but if you see its psychological effect, it is massive. And let's see an example of explicit versus implicit needs. Many times it happens, as I said in the first example, that the client says that I want to record all the calls of my sales team. So ask them a few questions about who will listen to this call and when will they listen, how many calls will they listen to. For example, if you have a sales team of 10 people and each person makes around 50 calls daily, so that means you have to listen to 500 calls. Do you have time to listen to 500 calls? In this case, many people will patronize you that since the call is being recorded, it will correct everything. For example, if you install a CCTV camera, everyone will behave honestly. Those outsiders will walk honestly as they do not know that no one is watching the camera. But those in your team know that there's no one listening to the call recording. They know there is no cable attached to the CCTV camera and the recording is not happening at all. So when it is known that no one will see it, it will not give you the result. Then ask the customer this question, who will listen to it? And then ask the same question that after listening to this, what analysis do you want to do and what action do you want to take? There may be another way to do this. Then ask the question of the North Star metric again. What is the North Star metric of a salesperson? Is it how he went by? Is it how many clients he visited? Is it how many sales he closed? How many leads are generated? Or is it how many demos are done? So, what is your North Star metric that you want to measure? Another thing is that North Star metric is just one. You can't have 7 North Star metrics. So, please don't fall into this misconception that these 7 things are important to me. That is not logical. Find any one thing. Understandably, that thing is dependent on 7 other things. But the North Star metric will always remain the same. The same thing has to be said here. Monitor the process rather than the activity. What will you understand by listening to your salesperson's call recording? If you measure that North Star metric, you will get quick results. Once again, this discussion seems like a trivial one, but it will be very useful. I'm giving you these examples. In this way, you should go deep into whatever you're talking with the client. You will have to go further, otherwise, it won't work. Let's understand the third example. Clients often ask, this is an example, there could be something bigger than this too. Clients say that I want to do email marketing or WhatsApp marketing. Now, this feature is there in Sangam. But you have to ask this question, and the question is, do you have the data ready for the campaign? I've seen people say that they have 200 Excel spreadsheets in which data is in different formats, and I want to upload all that here. They have not thought about how long it will take to compile that data. The second question would be, is the data deduplicated and clean? If we take the example of the same calculation, that out of 200 spreadsheets, the data has to be cleaned and deduplicated, it's a hell lot of time, okay? But at least tell them once, have some conversation. They will also think that the problem he's talking about is a little bigger than what we imagined. And it is okay. And this is the part of the capability demonstration. You are proving that you understand the problem. Do they have valid phone numbers? Have they tested mobile numbers? Some clients have also given us a data with an old STD code. Now, this is a 22-year-old number. It comes from legacy systems, and he's telling you to put it in the CRM. We'll do the calling. It doesn't happen like that. The people whose number is there, are they relevant or not? It is a database bought from somewhere or copied from somewhere, and we want to message them. So we need to talk to them about whether the data is relevant. Is it categorized or not? This means that if you will do the WhatsApp campaign or the email campaign, it is not that you will be sending the same message to 10,000 people. You may send different messages to some people. You will send separate messages, industry wise, product wise, separate messages. Send different messages to customers, category wise. So check whether the data they have is categorized or not. Have they calculated the cost of sending this message or not? For example, if you want to WhatsApp 10,000 or 100,000 people, so there is a cost. Okay, it is a cost over and above the CRM, right? When you use WABA, WhatsApp Business API, it costs to send such a message, each message. So ask the customer whether they have considered that cost or not. Many times it seems that the customer has not even considered it. They think I have a database, shoot that. They have not considered this. Then try asking what will you do about the content? Have you thought about the content or not? So only then you will know that they do not know that it is also necessary to write the content. They might be thinking that you will write the content for them. Okay, I faced this. So clarify all this. With these kinds of deep discussions, the client learns that you have understood their problem and are keenly interested in solving it. The important thing in capability demonstration in this process is that as a seller, we must tell them that we care for you. The moment you show it very clearly, they are very clear. Well, I'll give you some more questions here. If you want to understand the process of sales and service, what kind of questions should you ask? So, this will be useful in both sales and service. About ticket or leads. Ticket means the complaint that is registered for the help desk people, or lead is in sales. What are the sources for both of these? Where do they come from? Don't forget to write this on your pad when the customer says this. Please write it down in the notebook, right? It is essential. So, this will be the source. Then ask what your sales or service teams do about it. From this, you will know the actual sales process. If there are 3 or 4 people in the meeting, then it is necessary to confirm with all 4 people that the process is like that. I'm 100% sure that the other people will also add something to it, and then you and the customer will realize they do not have a process. This very process needs to be created. But the moment you speak like this, the problem becomes visible properly. Then ask how many people are involved, what is their hierarchy, what are their roles, what all they do, and how. Ask all those things. Then ask them what challenges the team faces doing all tasks. What are the challenges they are facing? I'll give examples of what the customer will sometimes tell you. Whenever our team members go, their reporting to us is a big challenge, or they cannot write down the notes or progress of the deal. Or if the customer has called, the one who has just called for the complaint, then who is that customer? Or the customer who has called for the complaint, does the customer have a contract or not? Or what is the name of his company? What products have we sold earlier? We do not know this at all, right? So these are the challenges in execution. CRM will solve all these. So discuss this thing in detail in execution. What is the problem the executive team is facing? What is the problem with them? What is the problem with doing their work? Ask another question that as a boss or team leader, what is the problem you, meaning the customer, are facing while monitoring and analyzing? These are two different problems. Earlier, we asked what the problem in execution was, and now we are asking what the problem is in monitoring and analysis. This means that as a boss, do you have visibility of the process or not? When you ask these questions, the customer gets convinced that you know that I have a different problem and the executive team has a different problem, and it will play a pivotal role. It would be best if you spent maximum time on this work, as we saw earlier, that is 40%. Now let us move ahead, explaining solutions. We don't have to give a demo, but explain the solution, meaning the problem that they had mentioned, how can we solve it, or which feature will solve it. This is just a talk. Okay? Now, if you do not know the solution properly, you cannot talk comfortably. That's why it is important that you do the user and admin course. So, what will happen? You will know the capability of the solution very well. Our purpose here is to convince the customer that we have the solution for the problem they told us in step number 1. Okay? You had written about their problems. So, the customer makes you write many problems, right? So, first of all, prioritize those. Do it by talking to them. These are the 3 major problems, and these are the other problems. And then discuss each and every problem about that problem. What should be the solution? This means, for example, my team is going somewhere, I don't know it. So ask, okay, if you get their geolocation, will it be known? Yes. Or I do not understand how many funnels each one from my sales team has. Then you will say that in a dashboard, a mobile dashboard, if team wise, user wise, product wise, who has how many opportunities and what is its value, if all this is shown, will it work for you? So they will say yes, it will work perfectly. So see here, you are not showing them the solution yet, you're telling them about the solution, right? So before you even show that demo, you have convinced the customer that you have the solution. This is the purpose of this step. One line is very useful here. This means the customer told you a problem. So here you can say, our other customer had a similar problem. Do you know what they did? Do that and then tell your solution. This trick always seems to work. Okay? So try that and see. If you try, you will know that it works. Then how will you help in implementing the CRM? You explain this in detail, the implementation process. Usually it happens that the salesperson speaks, the customer always takes it with a pinch of salt. Okay? He thinks that I'm telling you this, but it will not happen. But when we tell in detail how it will happen, then they will get convinced. So, what is the entire process of implementation and how is it? This we have discussed in detail in the next chapter. So, according to that chapter, now tell him how the implementation will be, what the role will be, what the steps will be, and which people will be involved. Okay? This is very important. You are now demonstrating the solution. Remember, this is not a walkthrough. That if your product has 50 features, then you do not have to describe 50 features. Now we will talk about the demonstrating solution. This means that right now you are giving the demo of the product. Earlier, you had only talked about the solution. According to the complete exercise you did in step number 1 and step number 2, you have to give the demo in that relevance only. Okay? When you are giving demos, then after a while, you tell them one thing, confirm it. Sir, will this be your solution? Do you have any other suggestions that it should be like this or that? What is happening is that with this, you are getting a yes many times even before asking for the order. I have seen many people who present demos very fast, right? Because they are not used to running the CRM. Even if you have been running it for 2 years, 5 years, or 15 years, the customer sees your screen for the first time. So it is going to take them time to understand it. So go slow. Go with a very firm tone and keep getting confirmation. Sir, is it okay? Or shall I explain it once again? Okay, it is not necessary that you show 50 points in your demo. It is necessary that you give 3 points which can solve their 3 major problems. And they feel that they are getting the product's full value. Whenever many people give a demo, they give it like user 1, product 1. Do not do this. Use a real name. Okay? So even if you're telling a story, tell a realistic one and it will work. And the second thing is that while you give the demo, don't give it CRM module wise. Tell them process wise. Suppose you've got a lead. So where would the entry be? If there is an inquiry, where will it be found? Or what will be shown if the ticket is raised? Then what will be the step after that? Where will be the entry be made if a new contact is made? Then what will happen at the time of contact renewal? Explain all this step by step so that it is easy to understand. Show the demo of your CRM with some data in it. We always prefer to show our CRM in the demo, right? It has 2 or 3 benefits because we are using it in the whole day. It contains real data, right? We can also tell them how we are using it. And the second main advantage is that our conviction is very high when we talk. Since I use this product the whole day, if I or anyone from my sales team tells about it, our conviction will be very high. The understanding of the product is very strong. And we also properly know the data which is shown. So the demo becomes very realistic, very close to the real environment. As I said, don't be greedy to tell the customer the complete solution. That is not necessary. The customer's requirement may often be such that it is not standard in your product, the Sangam CRM. For that, some customization and integration might have to be done. So understand it in detail. Do not say yes or no blindly. The first thing is to do this admin course properly. So from there, you will know when this customization and integration is necessary and where configuration works. As we have said many times, Sangam CRM is a low-code, no-code platform. It means you do not need to write any code to change it. Many things are going to happen automatically, but still wherever integration or customization is required, you should know how it can be done. If you do not know, then get clarity from both sides. Your technical team or NJ's team and the one who wants to integrate with any other software, then their technical team. After the meeting, tell them about the money. Don't tell them before that. Blindly telling the cost or giving confirmations, don't do that. Now this is the final stroke. Additional proof of capability. Till now, you told the customer that you are an expert. You also proved that you are an expert. But still, one more stamp is required. What should that stamp be? Suggest to the client that, sir, I'll give you details of my existing customers. You take feedback from them. There is no better capability demonstration than this. You have happy customers who are happy to tell others about you. There is nothing like this. If you don't have happy customers yet, first make happy customers. There will be a little struggle with the initial 1 or 2 customers, but the moment you have at least 2 happy customers, the life ahead will become very easy. The new client you're talking to, request them to go to the old customer's place or talk to them over the phone, right? It's not like just a list has been given, but you don't call them. Don't do that. And tell your existing client that these are my new customers. If they call you, please give a good and frank response about me. What should the client be asking? You also tell them a little about that. What do you want them to ask your existing customers? So this is a 5-step formula which is perfect for us. So tell the client that if you talk to my existing customer, first ask how the product is. Secondly, ask how the company is. Are the people fine? Do they give good support? Thirdly, ask what challenges you faced in implementing all this. Okay? And fourth, ask how you solved those challenges. And fifth, ask how NJ or the seller you are talking to helped you. You request your customer, prospective customer, to ask your existing customer these 5 questions. I hope it is clear. If not clear, watch the video of this section again. It will be clear. Please don't make this mistake, okay? If you make this mistake, it will be a very expensive one. You will not get the result. This is a product of SaaS. So if you don't continue that, you won't earn money. So keep a mindset that we must take money from the customer for the next 5, 8, 10 years. Make it accordingly and give it. Please confirm before selling whether those people can implement it or not. Okay, many times it happens that you pressurize a lot by doing tactics, by reducing the price, you sell it, and later you suffer during the implementation. This happens to many big companies. So stop doing that. Never make this mistake. Sir, please see the walkthrough demo first, see the product, and then decide. If you are asking to see the product directly, then the salesperson is not good. He doesn't want to use his intellect. He wants you to watch the demo and go ahead. This doesn't happen. If you have to do business properly, then do it properly. It will be more fun. Like I said earlier, time is money. Don't waste it on irrelevant people. Otherwise, your time will be a complete waste with no results. Finally, if you do this capability demonstration systematically, either you will not have to negotiate at all, or it will be very easy if you have to. See you in the next video where we will understand closing the sales. What are the steps to be followed in closing the sales? Okay, thank you very much for watching this. See you soon.